Hey there, fellow adventurers! I am Sunshade, and today we're going to talk about how to gear up fast and easy in the last season of the Dragonflight expansion. A new season is upon us in World of Warcraft with new changes to the dungeons and raid difficulties, and thus to their item levels, but not only. This time around, we will also get some nice gear upgrades from world content, so if you are wondering how you should start gearing up your character in Season 4 of Dragonflight, I'm here to tell you all I know about the drops, rewards, vendors and crafts available, and what kind of content you should start gearing your character in, depending on how geared you are right now. I also made a spreadsheet to help you keep track of rewards and upgrades easier, which we will be using in this guide for some clarity, and which you can also use to keep track of what drops where. Something new in Season 4 is the Awakened system, which every week will empower a different area of the Dragon Isles, making everything in the zone be empowered, but also drop higher item level rewards starting from world quests all the way up to the raids. You can check which of these is empowered per week by either checking which raid has the Awakened mark in your dungeon journal, or by picking up the weekly Last Hurrah quest from Therazal, the Dragon Isles emissary, next to the fountain in the center of Valdrakken. Without further ado, starting off with the lowest possible gear, aka on a newly dinged player, you can gain some fast gear by doing world content. It is the easiest gear you can get and easily upgradable with only flight stones. The normal world quests will reward explorer gear starting off at 454 item level, and with the use of flight stones you will be able to pop this up all the way up to 476 item level. The same item level items can be bought from the Time Rift vendors in the Tyrhold Reservoir in Thaldraszus. The Awakened world quests and events, however, will be rewarding for 80 item level veteran gear, upgradable all the way up to 502 item level, and the Dream Surge vendor will also offer the same type of gear, so you can double dip into these a little bit. The world bosses in the Awakened areas will also have increased rewards when it comes to gear. Some of the better geared players can also benefit from some of these rewards if they don't have time to go into higher content just yet. The best rewards from world content, however, come from the weekly Last Hurrah quest, picked up from our emissary buddy next to the fountain. These will drop a piece of champion gear, so 493 or higher, which will be upgradable to 515 item level. But the quest will also give you some gold and some upgrade materials, probably crests and flight stones, but most importantly, it will reward you with a full spark for crafting. This is also where the enchanting crests recipes can drop, so enchanters, you really want to do this quest if you want to get rich early in the season. You will only be able to get rewarded 1 spark per reset, but you are not forced into completing this quest for it. You can also receive it from the weekly PvP quests, which have varying difficulties, the easiest one of them being to complete the quest Proving in War, where you will have to gain 1500 honor in an epic battleground. However, you only get rewarded 1 spark per week, so in order to get it, you only need to complete one of the quests. So you either pick one of the PvP ones or the Last Hurrah one. Since we are on the PvP topic, the vendors here will also sell some new gear, starting off at 454 Explorer, which you can buy with Honor, 457 item level Explorer gear, which you can buy with Bloody Tokens, or the 493 Champion gear, which you can buy with Conquest Points. Remember that you can still upgrade all of these and that their item levels will be higher in PvP combat. Moving on into dungeons, there have been some changes to their difficulties and item levels, so let's start off with the queuable content. Normal dungeons will drop 460 Explorer gear, upgradable with only flight stones all the way up to 476, so you'll be almost up to date with gear from just normal dungeons. Meanwhile, the heroic ones will drop 476 Adventurer gear, going up to 489 with Whelpling crests and flight stones, but also rewarding 489 item level veteran rewards in the Great Vault, so the Vault rewards will be upgradable to 502 item level. And now it's time to get serious with Mythic 0 dungeons, where you will need to join or build your own group and actually go to the dungeon and clear it, but I am guessing many geared players will also join these, as Mythic 0 has upgrade options for them as well, or they can just jump into higher content and then get the higher item level drops from the get-go. Mythic 0 will reward 493 item level champion gear, which will be upgradable to 515 item level with Drake and Worm crests, so I would recommend clearing all 9 Mythic 0 Dragonflight dungeons for the good loots. Don't forget Dawn of the Infinite. The Vault rewards from Mythic 0 will be 506 hero track going up to 522. In Mythic 0, you will also be able to loot Drake crests, But remember that Mythic 0 difficulty has a weekly lockout for loot, so you won't be able to farm these on the same character in the same week. Besides Mythic 0, you can also do the hard mode Dawn of the Infinites dungeon, which rewards 506 gear, and I assume the Vault rewards will be somewhere around 515 Hero Track or 519 Mythic Track, but I couldn't find the exact information, so I'm not sure about this one yet, but I guess we'll find out soon enough. I am also guessing that a lot of tanks are gonna go into this dungeon on hard mode for the Cheat Death trinket. Now, going into Mythic Plus, the rewards rapidly increase in item level, starting off from 496 champion gear in a +2 key, going all the way up to 509 hero gear baseline in Mythic Plus 10, which is also the highest item level reward you can loot in keys. All of these can also be upgraded, depending on the key level you do, obviously, with the lowest keys champion gear going up to 515 and the hero one all the way up to 522 item level. The Vault rewards start off of 509 hero track for the +2, and starting with the +8 keys, your Vault will drop 519 mythic track gear, being upgradable to 528 item level with aspect crests. Just follow the spreadsheet, it's easier to see that way. For raids, we will have the Awaken system, which will rotate every week between the 3 Dragonflight raids, empowering one of them to drop better gear, but also be a little bit more challenging. Whether this means affixes like we had in Shadowlands or something else, we will find out when the patch actually goes live, as we weren't able to test this on the PTR. Another thing to mention is that the first 6 weeks, the raids will be awakened 1 week at a time, and in the last weeks of the patch, all 3 raids will be awakened at the same time, so you will just be able to play all of them with the Awakened system. Now, looking for raid awakened gear will reward 480 item level on the first bosses, and going up to 489 veteran gear, with some later bosses dropping the very rare items at 496 champion. Here you can also farm Whelpling crests. Normal raids will start dropping 493 awakened champion gear, going up to 502, with later bosses rare items dropping at 509 hero item level and rewarding Drake crests as well. Heroic goes up to 506 to 515 hero, and rare items at 522 item level mythic track, also dropping worm crests. And finally, the mythic raid will drop 519 item level from the first bosses, going all the way up to 528, with the rare items being the highest at 535 item level. And here you can also get your aspect crest for upgrades. Now for professions. The spark we need for crafting is rewarded from the weekly Last Hurrah quests as mentioned before, and it can create 489 to 502 item level gear, but without a spark you can still craft an item up to 486 with just the Whelpling crests. If you want to craft higher item level gear, you can buy the Nascent Worm's Awakened crest from this vendor next to the Enchanting Trainer, with 45 worm crests, and have an enchanter create an Enchanted Worm's Awakened crest for you, going up to 515 item level depending on the crafted quality. You can also go for the highest possible version with aspect crests, which goes up to 525 crafted item level. Lastly, but maybe most importantly, the new gear vendors in the Bronze Enclave in Valdrakken will sell weapons, trinkets, and rare items from the Dragonflight raids, so anything that's best in slot for your character you will be able to buy from here at the cost of 2 bullions. The bullions are a temporary currency used in Season 4, which we will be able to use to buy various items, from these really good items to transmogs and a mount that hasn't been available since the Fated season in Shadowlands. As far as we know, they are rewarded from awakened raid bosses, capped at 1 bullion per week, but with a catch-up mechanic, so if you miss a week, you will be able to get an extra bullion the following week. When testing on the PTR, we also found that the 4x Mythic Dungeon weekly quest also rewarded 2 bullions instead of an item, but that may or may not change when the patch goes live. However, if it will reward 2 bullions, it will be a really good improvement to this quest, as you will be able to pick a great item to buy from the vendors, instead of praying to the gods of RNG and still getting a crap item you don't need or already have. Another thing to mention when talking about bullions, I recommend not getting overexcited and instantly buying something as soon as you get your hands on them. I would personally do the raid first, and if I don't get my best in slot item, then I will go buy it. All the items are bought at 493 item level, and they will be upgradable up to 12 times, with the very rare items being upgradable 14 times, up to a maximum of 535 item level for those dropping from the later bosses. Also, I'd give it a bit of time just in case there are some last-minute item buffs or nerfs for specific classes. What I can say for sure is that whoever already looted their Farak legendary item or the evoker one can straight away use their bullions to buy an item upgrade for these and not have to worry about what the best choice of vendor loot may be. The legendary upgrade items cost 2 bullions like any other loot from here. The 3 vendors are split per raid, so the evokers will have to get them from the Aberrus vendor and the plate wearers from the Amirdrasil vendor. Hunters will also be able to buy Neltharax, Enemy of the Sky, once again from the Vault of the Incarnates vendor. It's not the legendary, but a pretty good bow. The vendors behind these will sell you tier for the new Omni tokens called Awakened Tempo Stone, which drop from the last bosses of each Awakened raid, or for the Awakened Mark of Mastery, which is rewarded from gaining one of the following: completing the Season 4 Keystone Master achievement, which is generally rewarded at 2k Mythic Plus rating, by completing the Awakened raid on Heroic, or by getting Challenger 2 in Season 4 of PvP. The third option of gaining tier items, other than getting the drops from the Awakened raids, is by using the Catalyst, which will gain a charge with every weekly reset. And one more thing to mention, for those whose tier sets are the same as Season 3, you will not be able to combine the Season 3 tier pieces with those of the Season 4 in order to count as a set. We tested this on a Vengeance Demon Hunter to see if it at least double dips the 2 set, and it only buffed the 2 set one time. So again, you'll need a full Season 4 tier set in order to get the full effect at max item level. That's pretty much it for the gearing guide. If you have any comments, drop them down in the comment section below. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you got some helpful tips from the guide. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe and share it with your friends and guildmates. When the patch goes live for EU, I am probably going to spam Mythic Plus and raid all day, so come say hi on stream and maybe do some keys together. See you in the next one. Bye!